Hello, and welcome to the Clean and Tidy Home Show Tea Break, where each month we'll be encouraging you to take a well-earned break with us. In this month's tea break, we'll be talking to board members of the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers about National Organising Week. I'm Penny, founder of the Clean and Tidy Home Show, taking place at XL London on the 8th and 9th of October 2022. The Clean and Tidy Home Show is the inclusive and accessible alternative to existing events where home owning and interior design take precedence over making where we live the wonderful, calm and functioning sanctuary we want it to be, regardless of space or budget. We're proud to partner with the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers, and we are working behind the scenes on some content for the main stage, demo stage and Ask the Expert area. We will also be having lots of content and exciting things coming your way before the show. So please follow us at Clean and Tidy Home Show and sign up for updates via the website so you don't miss out. Siân, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about the association?
Absolutely. Hi, my name's Siân Pelleschi and I am owner of Sorted. I'm a professional organiser and declutterer. I'm also a board member and conference director for APDO, which, as you rightly said, is the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers. It's a bit of a tongue twister, so we tend to keep it quite short to APDO. It just makes it a bit easier. APDO was first established in 2004 by a couple of people who were really keen to pull together and create an association for the profession. It's been established for a long time now, and we are the UK's only membership association for the profession, and we really support all those people and our members who want to become professional organisers and do this as a living. As well as being the only UK association of its kind, we also set standards for the profession, and we do that in a number of ways. So we provide professional development and we support the industry through additional learning, and on top of that also our annual conference, which is my baby. As an association, we do have a code of ethics, every single member, and we have over 400 members now, and it is steadily growing. Every single member signs up and agrees to the code of ethics, and also has full insurance and really sort of knows what to do when it comes to running a business and supporting our clients. Not only that, as a membership and as an association, we are a very close-knit community, and we see ourselves as colleagues and not competitors, which is a really, really big part of the ethos of APDO and what we're all about. We're there as caregivers, we're there to support our clients and also support each other in our learning as well. And there are so many different specialisms that we have within the association and within the industry that we can offer help for. As well as being a member, we also offer opportunities to our members of further training and development, like I've mentioned before, mentoring, and also the annual conference, which is a really big event for us, which is open not only to members, but actually to the members of the public as well. Anybody that's interested in professional organising or furthering their knowledge, both in business and through the profession, are always welcome at the conference. And we also do it through a number of other ways, through our social media accounts, through our blog and newsletters that we send out, and other promotional materials as well, and opportunities. Not only that, but we also supply support to the general public. We do that through our social media, and using an online directory, which is where you can go to find a professional organiser that can help you either virtually or in person for whatever the issue is that you are struggling with. Hope that helps give you a bit of an understanding about who APDO is.
Brilliant, thanks Siân. And I think we'll speak a bit about some of those specialisms a little bit later. But keen to hand over to Jacqui, if she's still there with us, so that she can give a quick intro and a bit of a background on how National Organising Week started. Over to you, Jacqui. If you could just take yourself off mute first.
We think,
Over to
would
you,
you,
Jacqui.
you think after 2 years, you know, being at home, that I still would make that mistake. Hi, Penny. Thank you so much for having us. So yes, we just had Now Week last week, and the theme for now was how to organise your home sustainably. So as APDO, as professional organisers, we and Declutterers, we're really keen to encourage our clients, our communities, family and friends to really think about this a lot more closely now. We know where we are with this topic. We know it's really high on the agenda. We just had COP26, and you know, we kind of want to be thought leaders in this space. We're in a position where we can help to influence and encourage and shape the thinking around sustainable living. We know that it starts at home, so we're really keen to do that, which is why the theme this year around now was that. In terms of the week, it was a busy week. We had basically had a social media takeover, and also on our website as well. So our Instagram page and our Facebook page was packed full of content with our daily blogs throughout the week, which we had some guest blogs on who are some of our members. And we were just sharing tips, advice, information, guidance on how you can actually organise your home and your life to be more sustainable and to really support this particular agenda going forwards as well.
Brilliant, really interesting stuff. So in terms of your top tips for organising sustainably, Jacqui, what are yours?
Yeah, so I think for me, it always starts with making that decision to actually start to live a more sustainable life. I think we see it all around us all the time. There are lots of messages out there that tell us to go green, you know, to think more sustainably, to be more eco-friendly. But there's one thing actually reading about it, hearing about it, maybe seeing friends and colleagues and family doing it, but to actually make that decision yourself to do it can be quite overwhelming and quite daunting because people don't always know where to start. So for me, it's about making that decision to actually live differently and to apply those choices in your life at home and, you know, through your other daily habits as well. So that's the first one. I've got 3. The second one would be, I think, is really think about buying better. So really be a conscious consumer, really think about what you're buying. Don't overconsume and be intentional about what you're actually buying so that what you buy lasts longer and it's more sustainable materials as well. So you'll think all the storage items, things you might put in your home or cleaning items that you might use in your home, make sure that they are made out of sustainable materials. And these are quite generic, but they're really important. They're a really easy, simple way and a place to start as well. And the third one I would say is, it's quite a common one, but I would say go paperless. You'd be surprised how many people still, you know, have paper in their homes. So we still get letters through our doors. There are so many ways now and so many companies that offer you the opportunity to actually go paperless and to go digital. So make sure you use that and take that up. We are still using far too much paper across business and at home, and that needs to change.
Brilliant. Some really good advice there, Jacqui. And Siân, anything else on your end?
Yeah, well, I'd mirror what Jackie's just said. I think everything that she said is absolutely, totally viable and true to her word. I would add in there that actually, you know, don't get worked up over being sustainable. I think it's all great and well that you have this intention that you want to be as eco-friendly as possible and sustainable within your home, but it's not something that you can necessarily do overnight. And if you can't do it overnight, that's okay. You know, take it in small steps. Even if you just change one thing to start with, that's better than changing no things at all. So, you know, start with one, build it up to something else. And also you have to remember that, you know, whilst it's great that we don't want plastic in our lives as much as we have, it's still around and we do still actually have it. So don't necessarily think about going, right, well, I'm going to throw out all these plastic bottles now and bring in the new eco-friendly stuff, because those plastic bottles have got to go somewhere. So why not try and utilize what you've got in your home right at this moment in time, but be more aware of what you're buying moving forward to help you become more sustainable.
Yeah, such a good point. And I think we'll be covering off things like incremental change going forwards in some of our tea breaks and other contexts. I think it's such an interesting topic. And I mean, we've touched on overwhelm and things like that, but what do you think are the kind of key barriers to sustainable living?
So I think for me, the main thing is, well, there's 3 probably. And I would say that lack of knowledge and understanding and education. I think people just don't know where to start. And I think people don't necessarily do enough research perhaps, or they're just a bit daunted, like Siân was saying, it can be really overwhelming. And it's about, like she said, taking small steps towards educating yourself and understanding and learning. And there are lots of resources on the internet, there are lots of books, and there's lots of people you can speak to, various other organisations where you can get that information from. So I would encourage people to really educate themselves. I think the second thing is cost, actually. I think people can't necessarily, it's not always accessible in that way. I think it can feel like an expensive way to actually, change your lifestyle, but actually it doesn't need to be now, because there are lots of small businesses and even bigger businesses that are making it easier, more affordable and more accessible for everyone to actually do and to take up and to apply in their lives. So again, do your research and don't just think, automatically assume it's just going to be too much of an expensive overhaul in your home. Take it in stages and just think about, where those costs can be applied and where they can be most effective. And I think the third thing is, actually brands are doing their bit, so I think what used to be a barrier before, I think brands now, with the call to actually make an effort and to actually do more in this space, and with climate change, etc., brands are actually trying to make sustainable living easier for people. So where it once used to be a barrier, and I guess this, what I'm saying is it's no longer as much of a barrier, there is actually more options available for brands to be and products to be more easily affordable and easy to access and to purchase or borrow, whatever. So yeah, they're mine.
Absolutely. Siân?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I also think that there's more availability and options for you to be able to be more sustainable and to be more eco-friendly. So, where once before it would take you would struggle to find somewhere that would take your hangers, for instance, or where you could take your makeup. Now that's becoming so much more available to you. A lot of the big supermarkets have now got their boxes at the end of the tills, where I think they're in the wrong place personally, but it's at the end of the tills where they are there, at least, where people can deposit their makeup and things that they weren't able to dispose of responsibly before. And so, like Jacqui says, it's so much more easier, and it's not as expensive to be able to have to do it as it once was. There are huge companies and huge projects going on now that are focusing on sustainability and recycling and looking at ways that we can utilize what we already have. And the materials that we're already using and we have used for years now, to be more eco-friendly and to be put back into the circulation, so that actually it's not being taken out and put into landfill or dumped in the rivers and the seas that we're seeing. And it is a lot more available to us. TerraCycle is a really good one to look at. So if anybody is interested in looking at other projects and other opportunities to be able to recycle items that actually have previously been very, very difficult to do so, TerraCycle is the perfect place to start. They run projects organised by other companies and other people to really be able to recycle pretty much everything that you have in your home. There will be a recycling program somewhere that is available. Now, whether it's as easily accessible as it should be, probably isn't at the moment, but it's becoming that way, with more and more eco-friendly and refill shops sort of opening up, where they are looking at more sustainable items and being environmentally friendly. They are now offering the option to be able to deposit your unwanted goods so that they can be recycled. So it is becoming a lot easier for people to be able to do it.
I think it's go on.
Sorry, no, I was just going to add to that. I was just going to say what's so interesting as well is that, Gen Z are thought leaders actually in this space, and we can learn actually a lot from them. Even my teenage daughters, when it comes to, for example, their wardrobe, they have a far more sustainable wardrobe than I did. And I mean, obviously I move in that direction now myself, and I am a professional decluttering organizer, but there are so many places where you can resell your items, you can swap them, you can repurpose your items, and this is really what that generation are looking at doing, and there's a lot we can actually learn from them. So even starting with your wardrobe to make that more sustainable is a really easy thing to do. Have swap parties, donate your clothes, like Siân says, there are lots of places that you can go to actually do these things now. So just try and educate yourself.
Definitely. And two things that I was going to feed into that is, it's really interesting, certainly in my local area, people that take it upon themselves. So when you're saying, Siân, about how easy it might be to use TerraCycle as an example. We have somebody who promotes that locally and runs a collection point once a month. So having 2 young boys and, you know, food pouches and things like that, you know, there's kind of local options and sometimes local support that can make that easier, which I think is interesting. It's just making sure that you know about them.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that you touched on, which we're going to be talking about a lot, is the circular economy, and making sure that you know, really are feeding things back in. So whether it's the circular economy of fashion, like you've just mentioned, or books or otherwise. So I think that's something that we're going to be touching on quite a lot. But what I was keen to do is get your key kind of takeaway from last week. So I'm going to come to Jacqui first. Yeah,
so I would say is, again, I've got 3, so I like to do things in 3s. So hopefully people remember it that way. But I would say we all have a role to play, really. It starts at home. Everyone has a role to play. This isn't just about, you know, one group of people or, you know, the eco warriors, and people like to call them over. Everybody has a role to play. So like we've just given you lots of tips and advice, and go onto our website as well, we can find out more. But there are lots of ways that you can actually start to live more sustainably, and it's all down to us to take responsibility for that. I would say the second thing is, like I said, consider what you use, how often and when. So that really is a key one for me, because that's really where the thinking starts, and that's where you really can start to shape what you do going forwards. And the last thing I think is build daily habits. So small, like Siân says, incremental changes that you can do. And remember, decluttering, it makes space for change. It allows you to actually really think about what you're doing, you know, with the space that you've got, the change in your mindset. So do declutter, do it in stages. It doesn't need to be overwhelming, but try to build those daily habits into your lifestyle. And before you know, you'll be seeing some real benefits, and you'll be saving yourself money.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jacqui. Siân, over to you.
Yeah, I'd just add to that, actually talk to other people about what they're doing, because they might know about a recycling project that you don't know about, that can help, you know. And the more that you talk about it, the more you can come up with ideas and ways in which that you can be more sustainable and be more eco-friendly, and look at what you have in your homes and whether you do the swaps and things like that. But just talk to people, talk to your local shops, talk to your neighbours, talk to your friends, talk to your family. You don't know what they know until you ask them, and until you start having that conversation with people. Actually, you can sometimes feel like you're a little bit on your own with it, and it's much nicer when you've got other people that are doing it together at the same time as you. You feel like you're involved with something, and it might be that actually you have the opportunity to club together and help each other out when it comes to recycling. So, you know, one person has certain items, another person has something else, and if you know of the different projects that are going on where you can then drop those off, you do it as a collective, you're going to save more in the long run.
Absolutely. Brilliant. So Siân, if people want to find out more, I know that Jacqui's mentioned the website, but where should they head to?
Yeah, so we've got obviously the main website, which Jacqui's mentioned, but we also have Find an Organiser, which is where you can go to find a professional organiser to help you. And that is literally findanorganiser.co.uk. And you can find us on all the social media platforms as well, just as APDO UK.
Brilliant. And as far as I'm aware, the Find an Organiser website has the different specialisms of organiser. And I know that we've touched on Comrie method in our latest newsletter, but we're going to be doing almost a deep dive into each specialism each month. And I believe the next one is moving home. Is that right, Siân?
Yeah, so moving services, not necessarily moving home as such. It could be just sort of downsizing or helping to downsize or shift shift things from one place to another. But yeah, moving services.
Brilliant. Brilliant. No, thank you for that. So finally, just wanted to thank Siân and Jacqui for joining us on our tea break today. And really looking forward to the next one, where we'll be talking to some members of our Shine Squad. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Penny.